Hello everyone, welcome to yet another stream. Hi there. Hi the comedian, hi the Tar, hi the Stamp, hi the Greg, hi the Ned Bibliophile, hi. Hi, welcome. And today we will be... Can you guess what we'll be doing today? Can any of you guess what we will in fact be doing on this day? It's working on the video. Unbelievable, I know. Did I render this as 1960? I did. That's good. That's good. That's neat. That's nice. So hi there, Switch Live Chat. Already did. Hi the Reblogs. The day happened. Now there's a make it stream. Do you think robots should be allowed to have relationships with humans? That's an odd perspective to make laws. From the perspective of robots instead of humans. I've never seen that. Like, that's basically like asking, should robots be allowed to generate images for humans? I feel like if you want to make a law, it would be more like, should humans be able to generate images using AI? I think that's the way you want to go. Not the AI way. It's kind of like asking, should bicycles be allowed to drive humans? You know, would you like legalize robot-human marriage? I don't think I'm right to talk about this. That feels like an awfully religious topic, which I'm not an expert on. Did you watch the Minecraft movie? Not yet. I plan on it. I've been so excited for the Minecraft movie for such a long time. You know, I've been waiting. Hold on, let me just set up the render, the animation real quick, then we can chat. Setup will be really easy because all we need to do is just move the camera to in a simple way. To be fair, simple, not that simple actually. Not that simple at all. Not that simple at all, in fact, and that's because piss. Flint and Steel. No spoilers. No spoilers for the Minecraft movie. I haven't seen it yet. I guess we could just do positive. What am I doing? The positive hasn't included, which means I can just do -3, and then now it's red. This is -5 though, or -4, because it's exponential. Not 40, that's too much. -4. Or -6. Yeah, that looks good. Marriage is about religion. I don't know about marriage. Listen, I'm like one of the last people you should ask about marriage stuff. If you want to talk relationships, I am not your guy. Okay, quaternions. Next, negative numbers. So, sometimes it could be positive tends to negative, negative tends to positive. Okay, so right here, what we'd like to do is actually create menu switch, index switch, there we go. Index switch with a value that will be the float, right, with many inputs, and then each one of them will have its own input like this, and then the index will pick the float that goes in right here. Did I do it right? Oh yeah, this should be a different geometry nodes. There we go. In that case, we can select a different value for each and every single one of them. Would you look at that? I am so clever. I am so gosh dang clever. And right here... Ah, shucks. The middle one. Yes, set material negative. Perfect. Now I can turn all of these off. And this isn't working because of course it isn't. Why would it? We need to add a negative and we need to modify it to have the attribute brightness plugged into the brightness. And now they modify everything. Lovely, lovely, lovely. That's exactly what I was looking for. There we go, render animation. Chicken jongleur. No, not the jongleur. Not the jongleur. Okay, how is your day going, everyone, by the way? Pardon the voice crack, I'm just so excited to hear about your day. Here, lip slap. Yeah, I love that, which is a reference to the famous artist. I'm losing my mind. About your day, on Monday. Hear your lip slap. Yeah, okay, doesn't matter. I'm getting distracted. The point is, today, if I finish this video today, that would be impressive. Because here's where I am right now with the animations. Here's how far I have to go. And this isn't even finished, because this is just where we start thinking of quaternions as vectors. Which means it has to go on even further. Good, yours. Good. I'm glad to hear your day was good. I am really glad. I did record the video so far. Give me a second, I need to turn it on. Good matching Sonic Prime candy braces, my little half brother. It's cute. Okay. I need to start editing the video, which means we'll be working 2 things at a time. We'll be rendering the animations, and we'll be editing them, putting them all in place. This is what I got rendering-wise so far, but I need to go further. I watched the new Doctor Who episodes while cuddling with a friend today. Your life is so great. That's again really cute. Damn, that's amazing. Meanwhile, it's been taking me half a year now, to convince a friend of mine to watch Deadpool 3 with me. And they still haven't. They still haven't. Every single time they come up with an excuse. Yeah, in this video we will... Yeah, shut up, past make it. No one asked. There we go. That's the most autistic thing I've ever heard. Have you heard the way I talk about the train stamp though? Because I mean... in fun and funky ways, but before we get to the actual meat and potatoes of the video, the thing you actually clicked for, we first need to start with a bit of context. There we go. Fields and rings. Kind of like flint and steel, except make it. Are you a DC guy or Marvel type of guy? That depends. That depends. I do like the dark DC stories. I, for one, think that the Joker and Batman storyline is great, because this is basically like the avatar of order versus the avatar of chaos. I find that storyline very fascinating, but at the same time, DC comics tend to go a bit extreme with like very, very boring just power kind of thing, where basically they just focus on each character being more and more powerful without anything interesting to them. And yeah, I don't like that. Joining the Discord server today was me discovered by the content that came across the general chat. I had to leave after just a few minutes. Yeah, I have the general chat muted. I have it muted because it's so garbage. So I don't watch that. Instead, I just exclusively spend my time on the science channels on that server. I'm more of an AC kind of guy. I need my coils and capacitors to experience electromagnetic wiggle. It wasn't what I was expecting from a server spending quite a time in the streams. I get it. As I mentioned, I have the general chat muted. I don't spend any time over there either. Timon right now is tasked with moderating it because he called me up, told me that you know, someone needs to moderate it. So, you know, Timon is now in charge of moderating it and brought him upon himself. So good luck, Timon. Good luck. We'll check back in a week about that. We'll see. I'll see how the general chat is going then. From make it as nobody wants to measure. I shall do it. No. Don't twist it, Timon. Timon, you specifically called me and said that someone needs to moderate the basic chat. So there we go. I don't like when people bring up problems. I like it when people bring up solutions. So I assume that when you called me up and said that someone needs to moderate it, what you meant is that you would like to be that someone and aren't just shifting responsibility on anyone else. Fields and rings. Every single time I hear the fields and rings, it just, in my head, I imagine like Jack Black in the middle saying fields and rings. Fields and rings. I haven't even seen the movie. Fields and rings. Alright, but right away from the very beginning, of the video, the thing you actually clicked for, we should start with sounds well. Oh, the animation rendered. How lovely. Cusp. Hi, the ninja. Hi. Basic idea, is there anything? Need to increase something. Take whatever you multiply by and flip them. Positive tends to negative. Okay, so right here, what we want is 2000, 2040. And what we'd like is first, let's temporarily set all of them to a 1 so that we can flip them properly. So, in the system I've set up, we have these nodes where 0 means positive, 1 means negative, 2 means imaginary, 3 means negative imaginary, which means that for each index, we want 0 to become 1, we want 1 to become 0, we want 2 to become 3, and we want 3 to become 2. So that's our input, that's our output. And, oh, shucks, we need to modify this as well. That's because these two can't have the same value, they need to have a different value. There we go. So how do we do it? Well, make it, what's your emotional reaction in hypertensive matrices? Devastation. Yeah, we'll drive a bucket for gas, but the basic channel demand has to pay. Hey, you the one that brought it up. Timon, you exclusively brought it up. Let that be a warning for you for the future, that if you ever bring up a problem to me without offering a solution, then you will be the solution. That's the warning. I don't like complaining. Like, if someone complains to me about an issue, then I automatically interpret that as that person wanting to solve the issue. So when you said that basic chat needs moderation, I just interpreted it as you want to moderate the basic chat. You're welcome. The same as when you brought up the fact that that the music channel shouldn't be a thing, so I just deleted it. Zero, 1, 1, 0, 2 to 3, 3 to 2. How am I gonna do it? Hold on. A 0 to 1, 1 to 0. Add 1. Add 1 if the number is even, subtract 1 if it's odd. Which means what we want is first of all, check if a number is even, for which what we do is we do modulo of 2. And this will give us a 1 if it's odd, right, like so. Now we want to add 1. So now what we want to do is math subtract this from a 1. Doesn't make... Oh, that's because I did add. I mean subtract. There we go. Subtract that from a 1. Yeah. And then add it to the initial. No. That's because what we want, add 1 or subtract 1, yes, which means we want to multiply this by 2. No, hold on. I can figure this out. I think it's gonna be another active mode, one there's different time zones, so there is someone pinging while I'm asleep. No, I'm not the moderator. I'm not actually. I don't moderate. I'm trying out lingering mechanics. Any tips? I don't think so. I don't think I have any tips. Hold on, I'm struggling with this. Why? This is going 1 0 1 0. Add 1. So what we want to do is we want to add 1 if I am good at what I do. Wow. I am good at what I do. There we go. This flips positive to negative, negative to positive, imaginary, negative, imaginary, negative, imaginary to imaginary. Now we can set all of them to be 0 because we don't need them, and actually change this one to be 3. And render. We might need an American, but I told you, find me a moderator, because I don't... What am I supposed to do? I think we should just turn off the Discord server for the night. I think every night we should just remove the basic channel. I think that's what we should do. We should just remove it. We should just ban everyone from using basic channel at night. Because there aren't any moderators. You should give me all the power. Say less. There we go. On it. Hold on. Oh yeah, I was supposed to add music. That's what I was doing. Of the video, the thing you actually clicked for, we first need to start with a bit. Okay, let's do a jazz kit. This is jazzy, I like it, I like it. Context. Fields. There we go. Fields and rings. You know what we need right here? We need the Vine boom sound effect. That's what this video is missing. Something like a Vine boom sound effect. That will fix everything. Fields and rings. Fields. There we go. make it. What's the estimated time it will take to complete the video? Well, right here, I need to write like 2 additional pages of script. Then I need to make animations for all of this. Then I need to render the additional quaternion segment, which I haven't, record the additional quaternion segment, which I haven't. Then I'll need to edit all of this. Yeah, and then the video will be finished.
Yeah, in this video we will eventually get to rotations using complex numbers.
Yeah, shut up, past naked, no one asked you.
To start with a bit of context. Fields and rings.
Rings should begin a bit sooner.
Rings.
Now, let me just... I will ban every single member. You're tempting, you're tempting me to give you mod. The Ultron way of moderation. Alright, hold on. What we want is... where's the sound design? There was a sound design tab. Cinematic, right. No, too much, too much, too much. No. No, this is all too much. I like it. I like that one. I like that one a lot. No rules can be broken, there's nobody to break them. Finally, someone with solutions. Okay.
Fields and...
I am spending so much time on this. I've done nothing. It's already been almost half an hour and I've done basically nothing. Because I'm just focusing on the first like couple of seconds of the video.
Fields and rings. What are they? Well, first let's start with fields.
Alright, time to speed up. Time to pick up the pace. Because it's dropped. And my Premiere just almost crashed by trying to import a single file. Great!
First let's start with fields. Fields are just numbers in which you operate a number in a field.
Yep.
Fields are just numbers. Fields are just numbers. Fields are just numbers in which if you operate a number in a field with...
There we go. Hi, the farm main. Hi.
Another number in a field, another number.
Use autosave. I have muscle memory that automatically presses Ctrl S. I don't need autosave. I have manual. I have manual save.
Then you get yet another number in the field. This operation can be multiplication, addition, subtraction, or division, but the point still... This operation can be multiplication, addition,
manual because you're European. No, manual because I'm doing it by hand. With me fingies. It's called manifesting.
point still is, they have to stay within the field. So basically, imagine it like a network. So basically, imagine it like a network.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of worried about right here. There would be a bit of a flash, but it's fine, that's fixable.
But the point still is, they have to stay within the field. So basically, imagine it like a network of nodes connected by lines. Each node...
Right here, some sound design would really be nice.
Imagine it like a network of nodes connected by lines.
These are the nodes that took me, like, however many hours to create. We should all just think very hard together to achieve victory. Is that a Warhammer 40k reference? A golden star to anyone who understands why. A person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thoughts.
Each node represents a number, and each in which if you operate a number in a field with another number in a field, then you get yet another number in the field. This operation can be multiplication, addition, subtraction, or division, but the point still is, they have to stay within the field. So basically, imagine it like a network of nodes connected.
Yeah, right here some kind of sound effect would go a long way. I can... hold on. Glitches, would that be... Too much. Maybe, that's a maybe. No. I'm trying to up my video quality recently, which means I also need to do some sound design. Actually could work, I know. I can make it work. I can make it work, yeah. Certainly. Certainly I can make it work. I'd like a man coughing for 40 seconds. Just unrelated to anything in the video, just add them.
So basically, imagine it like a network of nodes connected by lines. Each node represents a number.
It does indeed. It does indeed.
Number. Number.
No center.
Number. And each line represents number.
There we go. Yeah, we're practically finished, as you can see. We're practically done with the video, I would say. I would say it's pretty good. Level cement rule 3, do not eat the cement. You know what, Reblax? That is genius. I'm adding you to the rules. You are so right. There we go. Consider it added to the rules. There we go. Literally 1984. No more eating cement. Eating cement is no longer allowed. Honestly, society.
In operation. And basically each
Okay, this.
basically each node and line each node and line
And line. Ah, piss, how's the animation? Finished! Good. That looks proper. That looks proper good. Fortunately, because I am a master at what I do, I can just change this number from a 0 to a 3. And there we go, that's it. The animation is finished. Why did you stop making shorts? I like this three messages there. Why did you stop making shorts? Shorts don't give him the money, and then neither do long videos. Hold on, I wanna add that to the best comments, all in series. That's comical. I am actually going to make a short for this video. That's because there is there is one thing that I think is a very nice visualization that would even work for shorts. But that will come later on. Which means we might actually make short. Oh yeah, the next rule is rule 34. Oh, that's good. Oh yeah, now it's time for... I'm kind of tempted to say rule 34, I don't exist. It's kind of tempting to say rule 34, I don't exist. This is funny.
each node and line connection in this node results in another node.
I had a stroke while saying that, didn't I?
That would also be... So basically we have a node in the network, it connects to another node.
Did I have a stroke while saying that? Because what I just said makes no sense.
Each node and line connection in this node results in another node.
It kind of makes sense when you see the animation, but on its own.
Connection
In this node, so this right here.
this node results in another node. That would also be a part of this.
Yeah, there we go. Cut this.
Another node. That would also be a part of this network.
Sound effects. Rule 34 is bound to happen someday, hopefully. I really do want to say for rule 34 that I don't exist. I think that's 34. I don't exist. And then the sad make it emoji. Or is the sad make it? There is the sad kid emoji. There we go. Yeah. Rule 34. Don't wanna. Who says I don't wanna? I wanna exist. I wanna have proof of my existence, but there just isn't any. Is that the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference? Not really. Not quite.
This network. So basically we have a node in the network.
Okay, we have the node in the network. What's next?
It connects to an
Yeah, this will require a bit more of a thorough explanation, but fortunately I will.
Another node which creates a result connection, which connects to yet another node, and yet connects to yet another, which creates
Okay, one bug. Add frame hold right
a
here.
result connection, which connects to yet another.
There we go. Alright, now let's spice it up a bit right here. Right here to be more exact. That's because, yeah, look, I've had to get the Galaxy Rule 34 to learn more. Actually, look up Make It Rule 34 to learn more about this. Hold on. What am I doing? Oh yeah, right. The sounds. Chords. 5 chords.
Basically, each node and line connect and
Maybe it has to be a bit further back. Like this.
each node and line connection in this node.
Yeah, this will make no sense if someone just listening to it, but the animation should make it fairly clear.
This node results in another node that would also be a part of this network. So basically we have a node in the network, it connects to another node, which creates a result connection, which connects to yet another node. And yes, normally that would mean that all of these nodes would have to be connected, but this would make this animation normally that would mean that all of these nodes would have to be connected, but this would make this animation borderline impossible to understand, so this is my artistic interpretation.
Oh, I need to make a French make it. Hold on. I need to make a... I just remembered that I need to make a French make it. Trust me, it will all make sense eventually. It will all make sense. We need a French make it. Listen, hear me out. We need a French make it. You don't understand. It's imperative. It's crucial. It's crucial to the existence of the entire video that we have a French make it. Let's call it sad make it. There we go. Now, how are we gonna do this? Well, first of all, the big issue is the fact that well, the big issue will be the fact that this code is kind of a bitch to remove. Oh, damn it. I need to make a shirt, basically. I need to make it a shirt. Ah, fudge sticks. How am I ever going to? Well, first let's cut the bottom. It's not necessary, but let's cut it evenly. Well, even cutting it evenly is gonna be basically impossible, but whatever. That's a thick shirt. That's a very thick shirt. Okay, these are disconnected. They can be chilling. Let's remove this. Okay. Wow, I look so much more fit all of a sudden. Just who would have known? Wow. Okay. Now what we need is to remove these two flaps right here. They ain't necessary. Which leave a hole behind, because of course they do. Because that would be too easy otherwise. Delete this. And now we just need to shadify it. Everything is a triangle. Everything is a triangle. Why? Might as well delete the center. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I have an idea which could work. It might not work well, but it could work somewhat. Man, say what you do and why. Yeah, I told you. I told you, don't make sense. Now... What? The shed is too thick! The shed is way too thick. It cannot be. Alright, there we go. Now let's select all of these, all of these, all of these. Why is there a spike in my... Oh, well, not really into that. So if you don't mind, there we go. Okay, lovely. Now let's just give it some more depth and then extrude it outwards. Alright, and then extrude it inwards. And even more. And now, this is gonna be rough. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, okay. That can that's not... Could be worse. I wasn't honestly... It could have been worse, certainly. A tattoo neck might help. We're making a French make it, which means we can. Actually, hold on. Right here we have some random garbage floating around, which we simply do not need. No want. Oh my goodness, these are all separate triangles. This geometry is truly just something else. Okay, there we go. Now all we need to do is just bring everything closer like this. Alright. Bit of a manual fix up right here as well. Looks roughly shirtish, I would say. Give him jiggle physics. No. No. Non-chest left beef. Okay, shading. Let's remove this because we no longer need it. Let's do... I don't know why, but the French, like, attire, for some reason, to me, is just stripes. Okay, or you can just not work. That also works. Why aren't you unwrapping at all? Well, that kind of works, but the problem is that now if I move the hand, it's gonna get screwed up again, right? Never mind, that just worked on the first try. Holy crap, never mind. Egg on my face. I don't know why, but to me that's French. I like that's that's just French. I cannot explain it. I cannot put it into words, but it is French. Now what we need is we need to do the typical French pose, which is the hand. The chest might be screwed up a bit because I've redone the geometry, which...
Are you associating all French people with criminals?
I mean, yeah, it is criminal to be French. I've said it on many occasions. Oh, hold on, what's the French pose? It's like this, it's like this, it's like this. Like, you know, the typical there is no pipe kind of French smugness. And then in this hand, actually, we'll need... Ideally, I'd have both a glass of wine and a cigarette at the same time, which will require a bit of trickery, but I can do it. Hey, Kronos, wait. Of course. You heard Kronos' voice for the first time? What do you mean first time? Kronos has been on streams for a really long time. It's just that he always changes his profile picture whenever he joins. This is too easy otherwise. There we go. Now just to make this a bit thinner. Perfection. See inside. There we go. Now this one is gonna be just glass. There we go. Preferably really clear glass. And this one is gonna be the same, but it's going to be red. Still looks like garbage though. Alright, finger crossed that the one trick to always fix any mesh looking like garbage works, which is just this. Actually, cut more Clark. Don't look too bad. Or maybe it's the fact that it's too clear. That could be also it. Yeah, it's probably it being too clear. Comically large wine glass, exactly. Yeah, I think it genuinely is just too clear. In which case, up this a bit. There we go. That's the wine.
Make him smoke a baguette.
No. There is gonna be a sig though. I kind of also want to give him like a twirly villain mustache. Not the French hand warmers. They're only there because in order to delete there will be a whole chore, and I'm just too lazy for that. All right, now it's time for the sig. Now it's time for the cigarette. That one is easy, actually. There we go. We got them cigs. I mean, yeah, that's kind of what I was looking for, actually. The only thing I kind of want to add to that is like a volume. Let's add like a volume. And give it like a really cinematic kind of lighting. So remove the brightness of the background as much as possible. Remove this light right here. Oh, this is actually good. Yeah. Like a very cinematic kind of artistic lighting. There we go. Then that's too bright. Yes, that is what yes, absolutely yes. Just yes, that is exactly the kind of artistic vibe I wanted from this. This is perfect. There we go. Render image. Stop calling them cigarettes and use their God-given British name. Cigs? You mean? Check memes. Oh no, what's in memes? No, Why you change your profile picture to a cigarette? Alright. French. That's what I'm gonna call it. Just gonna call it the French. There we go. Now that we're done with this tangent, I can just...
Understand? So this is my...
I can just add it to the video. The whole reason why I did it is for this like segment right here, where I can just say, you know, artistic interpretation, and it's funny because there's gonna be like a make it. That's the only reason why I did that.
So this is my artistic interpretation.
That's it. That's the bit. That's the whole joke. That's the whole bit. The whole reason why I made that make it is for this 2-second long segment. I'm sorry, 1.5 long segment in the video. And that's it. The French make it will not appear anywhere else in the video, nor do I have plans to include it anywhere else. It's just it. That's where it dies. That's all the reason why the French make it exists. Just to add him into this 2-second long segment.
Now what this basically means is that using addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, you can go from any node on this network to any...
Alright, cool. Over.
Now what this basically means is that using addition, subtraction,
Division, multiplication,
you can go from any node on this network to any other node on this network. Always, no matter what. But if you have a node out...
Alright, there we go. There's this, and then...
But if you have a node outside of the network, then there is no way to reach it, no matter what you do. However, if you add this additional node to the network, this opens up an...
Oh yeah, I remember, that's why I did it. This, cross this off on top.
To the network, this opens up an infinite amount of new possibilities and... Okay, let me give you an example.
Alright, how are we doing so far with the video? Minute 30 seconds. That's good. So we basically finished like a minute in an hour of a stream. And that's with animations that are already finished. I am not making a good time. I am really not making a good time. Well, let me get another sip of coffee. But negative, negative, positive, imaginary tends to negative, imaginary. So right here, 2, 1, 20. And that will be once again from 0 to a 3. Alright, let's keep going.
Let's talk about pi. Pi...
Let's talk about pi. I agree, we should talk about pi. We should.
Let me give you an example. Let's talk about pi. Let's talk about pi. Pi is indeed quite a neat constant. I've talked about this before on this channel, but the one thing which will be...
Actually, we can just copy this. There should be no difference.
On this channel, but the one thing which will be especially relevant is that it's an irrational number, meaning that it can't be expressed as a ratio, but is that it's an irrational number, meaning that it can't be expressed as a ratio between two integers.
Right here, another sound effect actually would go a long way. Yeah.
It can't be expressed as
So right here, this
a ratio
between two integers. Yeah, like a disappearing, dying kind of sound effect. Do I have that? No. No. Absolutely not. This could work though. If I do negative 300 and if I do it like this.
Between two integers.
It sounds kind of like the government warning sign sound. I know it.
Between two
Yeah. Bitch. I kind of like it. Kind of works. Kind of.
between two integers.
But not quite. Not quite, not quite. This could work if I cut it in the middle. Oh my goodness, I did not mean to press page up. If I cut in the middle, extruded pitch shift down.
Between two integers. Between two integers. Between two integers.
That's a maybe. That's a maybe.
Between two integers. Simple as it could be.
Simple as it could be indeed.
Simple as it could be.
Now what? We're at 2 minutes. Okay, we're making better time, a bit better. Just a tad, just a smidge.
The actual proof for why that's the case is left up to the reader, but what I like to focus on is right now what happens when we take rational numbers.
Oh yeah, right here there's a lot more animation that was necessary because I was distracted when I was working on this. And so I didn't ration it properly. Pun intended, because they are rational numbers. I know, I'm hilarious. Make it, what's the best pi approximation you know? 1. It's close enough.
We take rational numbers and add, subtract, divide, and multiply them together.
Actually, this works not too badly.
Multiply them together. If we perform all of these operations, one thing you may notice is that we get a new
Yeah, this isn't too bad.
a new
We're at 2 minutes out of like 20. 10% of the video finished. And we're, well, less than 10%. And this is already an hour-long stream. Good.
rational number every single time.
That's great, that's good. Glad to hear. 11, still going.
Or in other words, using these operations, it is impossible for us to get an irrational number, meaning that we have our network impossible for us to get an irrational number, meaning that we are irrational number, meaning that we have our network of infinitely many rational numbers.
Okay, there we go.
That we have our network of infinitely many rational numbers connected by these operations, but disconnected from numbers like or E or square
There we go.
of 2. If you, however, connect something like pi to our network, then all of a sudden you have access to all the numbers, including pi, pi divided by 2, 7 pi, pi plus 84, or pi minus 2/3, which is a new field. And so now to revisit it, the original definition should
Okay, there we go, there we go, there we go. Add the frame hold. Alright, I picked up the pace a bit, 243. Not too bad, not too shabby. Could have been worse, certainly. We might actually finish this video today if I keep going like I'm going. But eventually we're gonna hit the snag of me not having enough animations. Which is when I'll actually slow down. So far I'm going much quicker than I normally would be able to. Okay. Okay.
makes some more sense. You take something big in the field, big in the field, operated another take something in the field, operated another field,
I couldn't help but notice that the background is completely different. Can you see that? Why is the background different? It's reversed the What have I done? How did I even? It looks like I reversed the displacement, which is curious. Where did everyone go? Well, the streams where I edit the videos aren't the most interesting, hence I assume everyone left.
big in the field.
Alright, let me just...
Operated another thing on. Operate another thing from the field on it, and you get
And right here is where we need the next thing, which is this.
get another thing from the field. Get another.
And right here, another field and field. So this and this and this. And then on each time it transitions, I would like to play a sound of the chords I have.
You take something in the field. Operate another thing.
Alright, let's see how it sounds.
Field. Operate another thing from the field on it, and you get another thing from the field. And anything outside of the field is unreachable.
Anything outside the field is unreachable.
Yeah, in this video.
Piss, I pressed enter. There we go, I'm back.
Anything outside of the field is unreachable.
I have an hour till Easter. Oh, happy Easter!
Simple. Now what about rings? Well, a ring is a more simple. Now what about rings? Well,
Oh, these reflections are just yummy.
ring is a more general field. So just like how a field has an object in a field operated on another, the ring is a more general field. So just like how a field has an object in a field operated on another field has an object in a field operated on another object. Well, ring is just a more general field.
Okay, there we go. Colored eggs.
Well, ring is just a more general field, so just like a field. Well, a ring is a more general field, so just like how. Well, ring is just a more general field, so just like a field, it has definition of, object in a field operated on another object in a ring.
Yep, because they were talking about rings.
It has definition of, object in a ring operated on another object in a ring gives a third object on a ring. This is the same. It's the same ring. It's the same principle. The only difference is that rings are more loose with the operations. Their multiplication, for example, doesn't have to be commutative, which mathematicians multiplication, for example, doesn't have to be commutative, which.
And this and this.
Mathematicians, I suppose, would call generalizing, but I'm just gonna call it depth.
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing.
Funny joke. A random dude died 1,000 years ago, so you can egg hunt today. Be grateful. Oh yeah, Lemon did take a break from the internet. That is a thing. I miss Lemon. Alright, this and this and this and this.
So you can think about it this way. Fields are kind of. So you can think about it this way.
Does this song have an ending, or is it one of those that don't end? It kinda does. That's good enough for me.
So you can think about it this way.
Right. Sorry, but I think I changed my profile picture a bit too much.
Not again.
Let me go.
Both now. Oh great! Now I'm gonna have both you and Acronymus on chat. Like the two people who always change their profile pictures to most random shit.
Let me just change it back. Wait, was it in saved pictures? Which one? Yep. Goofy cat.
Who's the cursed profile picture, dude? One of them is Acronymus, the other one is Macaroni, but you will never know who is who because they just join with random nicknames and random profile pictures.
Now I'm back to the goofy cat.
I was an egg once. Where are you? I remember the good old days back when I was an egg. Or to be an egg again, honestly.
Shadowing. So you can think about it this way. Fields are kind of like circles.
Yeah, this analogy doesn't make much sense, but let's roll with it.
Very rigid and strong definition, whilst rings are more like round shapes, which include the circles, but are also more general and even include gosh dang square goes.
I'm an omelette or whatever. Yeah, you know how it is. You need to break a couple of omelets to make some eggs.
And so now that we've got
Famous saying.
echo. And so now that we've got that, let's look at some of these rings more in
Did I miss
First, we
in-
have
in rules?
What do you mean? What did you miss in rules? What have you missed? Have you not been checking
no
the
more
rules?
eating cement.
Yeah, no more eating cement. That's it. It's over with cement eating. It's illegal now.
But that's my second favorite snack.
It doesn't matter. It's illegal.
Right after lead.
That's what you use to sweet up the cement.
have,
Yeah.
have
Oh, this transition. I am just phenomenal. There we go. Isn't omelette French? It sounds French, doesn't it? It does sound French. What are these called, by the way? The thin pancakes? Crepes, aren't they? What did you just acronymize? What is your profile picture? What even is that? That looks like a massive anteater. That's somehow also a vacuum.
That looks like the vacuum from Teletubbies, but in the style of Junji Ito.
Yeah, it looks like the vacuum from Teletubbies is about to just eat Tokyo. This is unnerving. Why does it have so many legs? You know what? I'm done looking at it. I need more coffee. I can't deal with the both of y'all. Give me a second. I need to make some. Don't do anything weird in the meantime while I'm gone.
Oh no. Timon, you shouldn't have given me that idea. You shouldn't. I don't know about that. Ayo, stop with the shipping. Or keep going. Who knows? An algebraic ring. That is one good question. One continent and then some. That is true. They have better Nutella to dough ratio.
Okay, I'm back. What has macaroni done? Be honest with me. What has it done?
I have committed multiple counts of arson.
Okay, I
have no rules,
trust
no
you.
boundaries. I'm not loyal to a flag
Or a country.
He doesn't flinch at torture, human trafficking. He has no set of ideals, or he's not loyal to any set of ideals or flag.
I actually bought some. Back to the whole crepe thing I started before I left. I just bought some
Donuts
flowers
aren't
specifically
better
to
than
make them.
crepes, though, comedian. No.
Wait, what is it? Donuts, but no, you're wrong. You are wrong. Also, crepes have like a comically, or crepes, whatever they are. Who cares? It's
Crepes.
pronounced crepe. Okay, then I am going to pronounce it crepe. Just because. Fuck the French. I like the crepes because they have like a simple recipe. Just flour, milk, eggs, and butter, if I'm not mistaken. And you can just chug them out. It's good. It's good stuff. It's pronounced crap.
No, you gotta pronounce the A a bit more. Crepe.
Yeah, I like me some good crabs.
Like grape, but with a K sound in the front.
The only thing fucking us is our government make it. Not if I can help it. I'm gonna extend that list.
What? This list of coordinate atrocities is incomplete. You can help us expand it. Oh yeah, palatschinken. No, palatschinken are different than crepes. Slightly. Like palatschinken, they are a bit more thinner and not so firm. They're a bit lighter.
Hold on. Fuck. How am I supposed to do this?
No, crepe tortilla and naan are not directly the same. Crepes are sweet, tortillas are not directly sour.
Before you say anything, keep in mind that tha is American, so saying crepe, tortilla, naan, they're all the same. Like, with that context, it makes sense.
Oh, okay, understandable. Then, palatschinken, yeah, I did say that. Timon.
Last PP change for the day for me. How often do you transition? Wow, acronyms, I didn't know. Good for you, I suppose. I'm glad you're embracing it, you know? It takes courage. I'm a flatbread absolutist. Is that a political ideology? As well. There we go. Now, what I need is to change this up. I think ironically, because 10 other people from my country would say the same thing unironically. The American curse.
Acronymus, you should change your profile picture to every frame of
B movie.
No, not the B movie. Oh wait, how's it called? Fuck, I forgot.
Shrek.
No, that's hold on, wait. Need to. Bad apple.
Make it, what is goulash to you? It's tasty because it's easy to make and it's really delicious.
Just set it on the stove and forget.
Yeah, I mean
hours
that is what it
least.
is. You just you just add all this stuff in there and just set it on the stove. It's a two-step process. Chuck everything in and then don't even bother cooking. It cooks itself. The best meal. Is it a stew or a soup? Oh, for me it's a drink actually. It's a cocktail.
Do you throw it in a blender and drink it like a smoothie, or?
No, I just take it with IV bags, honestly.
Interesting, interesting.
No, I've done it incorrectly. Top one is for the first. No, that's correct. The middle one. Oh, right. Right. Yes. This should be imaginary.
Christ has resurrected W's in the chat. When? David. I need to know when. When and where.
Which Zrek character would be the best profile picture? The clown, obviously the clown. The society, the politician.
Depression clown.
The politician Zrek.
Gurg. The gurgler.
The Gurg politician. That would be the best one. How is the person on the leftmost side talking about opening their mic? That's simple, they're not. Acronyms haven't spoken. It's macaroni. Also, American goulash is something you should look up to make fun of. Oh, what is the... I've never heard of it. What is the difference between just goulash and American goulash? Whoa. It doesn't look too bad, actually. That doesn't look bad. What do you mean make fun of? This looks pretty solid. I'd eat that. I'd eat that easily. I'd eat it up.
I don't know.
That looks tasty as fuck. What do you all mean? Look at it.
No, but American specifically. What do they put in there? Red 30.
Tasty as goulash. No. Oh well, acronyms. Wait till you find out that eggplants aren't actually made out of eggs. Misnomers exist. That doesn't matter.
What? You're trying to tell me eggplants don't exist out of eggs?
Actually, eggplants aren't just plants that grow eggs. Yeah, it was devastating when I learned.
What? Next, you're gonna tell me the moon isn't made out of cheese?
Honestly, y'all are unbelievable. This looks really just delicious. I think y'all are just in denial. Argue with make it. Exactly. Jokes on you, eggplants used to look like eggs. No, they didn't. They used to look like green dots.
Well, yeah, but they had a shape of like eggs.
No, they were spheres. Dude, does this look to you like eggs? Is this what
Yes.
eggs look like?
Yes.
They were green spheres. They didn't look to you. At no point did they look like eggs. Right now,
Your eggs don't look like green spheres?
you'll need to check your eggs. Like this maybe, but I mean this is what they actually used to look like. We went to purple. The eggplant evolution. Who names a plant after what, like, the sliver of what it looked like?
Everybody, obviously.
It's so dumb. Might as well call, I don't know, oranges yellows. It would be much easier. Actually, that would be pretty funny if we called oranges yellows, but they were still orange. We need to change the name. If we can change the name of Gulf of America, then we can change the name of oranges to yellows. But this looks delicious. This looks like something I would make, and I might make it.
I I mean, neither the color nor the fruit came first with oranges.
Actually, I came first. They really turned me on.
What?
Make it reading the only comment that agrees with him of his opinion gives me 1984 vibes. Yeah.
Oh my god, right. Iceland and Greenland. They really pulled the best troll of all.
The Gulf of Mexico should be called the Gulf of Make It from now on. I agree. Actually, it is called the Gulf of Make It. It's just that the American propaganda wants you to think that's Gulf of America, which it's not. It's the Gulf of Make It. Did you know that I actually colonized the entire world twice, but then I gave up all the land back to their countries because I'm nice? That's a true story.
That sounds made up.
Hide Tefta. No, that's not made up. That's a true story. Actually, that happened. But then all the world countries just removed it from their history because they were embarrassed.
I can only confirm the conquering stuff. I can't confirm the
Giving
giving the
back.
land away stuff.
Yeah, I actually still hold shadowy control with the governments.
Bro is the shadow government.
Goodness. That looks good. I don't know. I feel like you are just all biased. You all got so used to complaining about America in general, and American food specifically, that you can't appreciate something that genuinely looks like good food. That's just the bias. If this was Italian, you all would be fine with this. Like, the thing is, inside of you there are two wolves. One of them is American goulash, the other one is just spaghetti. And the one on the right is socially acceptable. Like, this is socially acceptable, but this is a crime against God, apparently.
Well, yes.
Unbelievable. Just bias all year round. That's what it is. Honestly, the only American food I have a problem... The only American food that I have a problem with, because of its name, is Sloppy Joe's. Because that's... The name... I mean, the food, as far as I'm aware, is just like a hamburger, except the patty is not a patty. As far as I'm aware, that's what it is. But the name is disgusting. Who calls their food sloppy? You don't ever call your food sloppy.
Unless you're Joe.
Unless you're Joe, I suppose. And also, a cup of Joe is completely... Where did the cup of Joe come from? What is the cup of Joe? You know what? No, I'm...
It's a cup of Joe.
Cup...
You just get a cup of Joe.
And by the way, cup of Joe isn't the sloppy Joe. So, like, the cup isn't sloppy. Because the cup of Joe is in the cup, but the sloppy Joe is in the burger? Or at the very least in the bun. It's confusing. Food shouldn't confuse me. I want food to be simple. That's why I need love. That's why I like Italian food. It's pasta and sauce. That's it. Well, maybe pizza, but that works too now. We're not getting into confusing stuff. We're keeping to the simple cuisine.
Joe Biden reference.
It's because all coffee beans are legally named Joe. That's a true fact, yeah.
No, I've heard some are named Henry as well. But those are like really rare. And only millionaires can afford that coffee.
The ones that the cat poops out.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's another thing. At some point, the really expensive food just stops being appealing, in my opinion. This looks like more like people getting bored than actually trying to do something nice tasting. Hey, what if we tried pre-chewed beans? We haven't tried that yet. And then just make it into coffee salad for a bunch of money.
And then put them on toast.
Petition for pound cake. Oh, pound cake, another one. Because you can get pound cake that doesn't weigh a pound or doesn't cost a pound. We should just call it cake. Just call it cake at that point. Welcome to yet another episode of Make It getting irrationally angry about irrelevant things. I'm getting distracted. I was trying to make an animation. Okay, so if I set all of this to a 3.
Grippy Joe.
All of it to a 3. Then real times positive times imaginary should give us imaginary. Negative times imaginary should give us negative imaginary. Imaginary times imaginary should give us negative, and negative imaginary times imaginary should give us positive. Which means that instead of this mess, what we actually want is... hold on. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, and what we want is 2, then negative imaginary 3, 0, no wait, 1, 0. 2, 3, 1, 0. Am I correct? Positive times imaginary equals imaginary, negative times imaginary equals negative imaginary, imaginary times imaginary equals negative, and negative imaginary times imaginary gives us positive. That sounds correct. Two, 3, 1, 0, which means add 2 and modulo 4, if I'm not mistaken. Add 2 and modulo 4. 2, 3, 1. No, because this has to be backward. Of course it does. I could just do it with the index switch, actually. I know I'm making my life this much more difficult. I'm trying to make it always using a map, which just maps some kind of value onto another value, when I can just use an index switch and have all my problems be solved with a 2, 3, 1, and a 0. There we go. This works. Alright, I think I did it correctly. I think so. If not, then...
Life chat just exploded.
Yeah, I'm not getting into that. That's on you. All of you combined. Set all this to 0, and there we go. 900, 200. Okay, perfect. Alright. 5 minutes. I can finish this. Oh, by the way, Testa, about the PCB.
Yeah.
I was planning. I'm so sorry for not responding. I should have responded. I'm sorry. I got my hands full just a bit, so I do apologize.
Oh.
I was planning on doing this. I finished the video, and then afterwards I was going to message you if you'll be awake, because that should be around 4 a.m. for me, which, if I'm not mistaken, would be around 8 p.m. for you. So I thought in the evening hours. But if that doesn't fit, we can think of something different. That's completely fine with me, because the PCB, I'm not gonna lie, it's not that much of a rush. It's gonna take weeks for it to arrive anyway, or days. I don't remember how long it arrives.
Yeah. Sometimes about 7 days or less.
That's
I
really
get my
quick.
new ones Tuesday.
Wait, where did you get them from? Was it PCB Way or the other one?
Well, I got sponsored by PCB Way once,
Yeah,
but
I like how simply because you got sponsored by PCB Way, my mind just forgot the other name, and I just have
and
PCB
so
Way.
I actually ordered more from JLC PCB because the price is less. It's about, yeah, they have a lot of deals, but PCB Way is pretty cool.
I'm all for PCB Way just because they might sponsor me.
Yeah,
I'm all for this.
JLC doesn't sponsor, but it's less expensive. So if you don't get sponsorship, go with JLC.
I don't care. That's an investment. That's an investment for the future. the same as I do with my VPN that I've been using for years now, but I will not mention their name because they haven't sponsored me.
I can actually give you a contact with the guy that sponsored me, And if you make a video about it or plan to, you could just like send a link to one of your videos that has like 50,000 views or something.
I would need to first get back at my game of videos because recently they haven't been getting much traction. So I suppose I need to first make something actually works before moving on.
You have more viewers than me, and I got sponsored, so they'll definitely sponsor your
I suppose then,
project.
but still,
Especially since you're
recently
making a video about it. So it's pretty much just going to be free for you. That's usually how it works. They'll just pay for whatever.
that would be convenient having free free PCBs for advertisement.
Yeah.
That's a maybe. Make it. What's the video about? This one about quaternions, as I mentioned already, but I'm assuming you're referring to the video I'm talking about with Tefta, which would be the practical video about making like a hub for SPI. SPI is a standard for moving information, and I want to make like a hub for it where you can connect a microcontroller to it, and then that hub would power the microcontroller and all the things you connect to the SPI. That's kind of what I want to do. Maybe 6 was a bit... Actually, no, 6 because of the counter. Whatever, I can leave the counter for another day. So I will also need your help with the... because the PCB will probably take more than one day design, simply because I also need to figure out... which I know you're the expert on, so I would also appreciate help. I'll also need to figure out maybe not a charging circuit, but at the very least something to handle the power in a smart way.
Yeah. I actually have field tested circuits that I'll share with you. So circuits that I've had ordered on PCBs and they've functioned.
Let's see if I can understand that when it comes out. The practical video, I mean, you can just check with the controller video I've made. If you can understand the controller video, you should be fine with the PCBs as well.
Positive numbers, which are notably positive numbers.
Now, what music to use here?
Have you been on a Satisfactory server lately?
No, I haven't had the time yet. Should I join right now? What's happening there? What happened?
No. I mean, it's just a lot's going on.
What tier are you? Have you already finished the game?
No, because
what?
we haven't actually done. But the funny thing is I have like, I think 500 nuclear pasta that's just been brewing. So for the next elevator phase,
Positive numbers.
it shouldn't take very long.
Positive numbers, which are notably.
We just completed everything right before phase 4, so everything's been researched.
Not a ring. Just don't question my methods.
I thought you were gonna make a YouTube counter.
Yeah, I was planning on that. That's why the hub, that was supposed to be the purpose of the hub. So, just make a hub where on one side you add the microcontroller, on the other side you have the SPI's outputs, and then to the SPI's I could just connect the 8x8 matrices. And then, but the reason why I like the hub idea more than the YouTube counter is because the YouTube counter can only count stuff, but a hub could, but turning a hub into a YouTube counter is trivially easy because you just add the matrices and that's it, and you just program the microcontroller. So yeah, the video will be about the YouTube counter. Or at the very least, at the end of the video, I will make a YouTube counter using that, but the actual price of the video will be the hub. Which is more useful.
So positive numbers will
So you're kind of making a dev board for multiple SPI
Yes.
connections,
Yes.
and you're kind of just
don't
yeah.
question my
Okay.
I think that would be just extremely useful for future reference because, well, SPI is the standard. Minimizing it in the future, actually, that would be another fun sequel to it, where I'll try to minimize it in some way so that I can make like smaller and smaller things using it. Actually, in the future, one video I will also want to make is just, which could be actually good, that could be a good plan for it, where I make this sort of divider for SPIs, connector, and then in the future just trying to make it as small as possible. So instead of using a whole Raspberry Pi, just using the RP2040 and trying to solve the chips for the first time in my life, which I'm certain will end well. It terrifies me to the core, prospect of soldering chips. I know that there is, I know that there are techniques to do it. I know that it's not just soldering each pin like individually, just like you would be soldering wires. I know for a fact that soldering chips is actually done the smarter way, but surface-mounted soldering of chips like RP2040 just looks so terrifying on paper because that is a tiny thing with however many pins it has.
It's more like chemistry than it is electronics.
I was about to say that, yeah, because you basically
you're dealing with the chemical properties of, it's actually like ground up solder inside of flux. That's what liquid solder paste is. Little pebbles of solder inside of a liquid flux that has to be placed evenly. And if you have too much, it will like lift the chip from the board. So it's definitely more like chemistry than it is.
Yeah, so
And then
basically,
you just have,
you add the solder and then you let it just grab to whatever metal it's most nearby.
yeah, and ideally you're going to use solder paste that is applied with a squeegee from a stencil, because they have like a metal cutout when you do surface mounted soldering, and the thickness of the metal, it limits the amount of solder paste that gets applied. So you squeegee it on, and it's like a very specific amount of solder.
you have a positive number.
Other than doing it like I have, where I've just taken a syringe of solder paste and tried to press it at 2,000 times on a board. And, one, it cramps your hand really quickly, and two, it's
So positive numbers will
use the right tools.
You have a positive.
I'll have to. I like the fact that I'm finally transitioning to more and more practical things. About time. I've been talking about it for a really long time, and I'm glad I'm finally doing it. The controller turned out so much better than I expected. The back, as I mentioned, horrible, but the case, I'm really happy with that because for some reason, even though my entire job is doing 3D stuff, for some reason doing 3D stuff for projects just always failed me.
You add another positive number. Positive number.
Yeah, it's a lot different.
Oh no, I just made an animation. I have no idea what the author meant by this.
Add another positive number. Number.
Oh, is that how I wanted to do it? Jeez, past make it. Get a grip on things, honestly. This is terrible.
You add another positive number, and it becomes
Oh my goodness, that's so terrible.
add another positive number, and it becomes
Alright, this brief segment will be terrible. But oh well. Can't win them all.
even more positive. You subtract the number and it becomes
Alright. I was supposed to finish this video 2 days ago, but that's a standard for me at this point. I feel like a broken record because I always say this. I always finish videos overdue. It just motivates me more if I set myself a tight schedule than a loose one.
You know, I do want to say something about the SPI bus, though. Is that there's a lot of people ask this sometimes why there isn't like an SPI standardized ribbon. It's because everything is laid out in a different order. So the biggest problem with an SPI bus you're going to run into is that every chip usually has a different order of placements. So it's not going to be always clock or 3 volts ground.
Yeah,
clock.
I mean, I assume that would be the case, but I do believe that that's a much easier, much more solvable issue than, well, because the thing is, to me, that's a simple problem, because if I just separate the pins out on each output of the divider, then I can easily just solder a wire to every single one of them, and I don't have to mess about with soldering them really closely on a microcontroller or something like that. So I do know that will be, it won't be like purely general where I can just plug in anything I want in existence into it. But another idea would be to create a standard, but that's way more advanced, way more for the future, to create an actual standardized system in which something not quite as ambitious as your single wire system, but something along the lines of just a connector that can transmit data every single time the same way, so that I wouldn't have to remake everything every single time. I mean, you still need to work on the single wire because that is incredibly ambitious.
Yeah, actually, I should work on that today. I finished up a whole bunch of work stuff yesterday, so I'm gonna work on that. Other than playing Satisfactory.
Satisfactory is a great game to play in the background, so I suppose it should be perfect.
Well, what you could do for your board is that you could have 6 pins for whatever device in different areas, and then you could always just connect them with small wires. So you're like half breadboard, half dev board. So that way you could route it with minimal wires. Yeah, you could even use jumpers, or I mean solder jumpers, where they're usually normally open or normally closed. And then you just solder these little jumpers to send the signal to certain ones. Technically, you're actually just like soldering in binary, right? It's kind of interesting.
Less positive.
Because you're connecting it if you solder it, so it's like a one-time. You can design some pretty complex stuff with solder jumpers.
Multiply a number by
I keep thinking about the single wire protocol. So do you plan to move information using frequency, right? Power user, because AC, it's AC and power using AC and information using frequency.
Yeah, so there's going to be a clock signal. So imagine that you have a standard 5 volts coming out of this, right? And then on top of the 5 volts, there will be like a 3 volt spike clock signal. So it'll go 8 volts, 5 volts, 8 volts, 5 volts. And then you would have like a carrier frequency of maybe another 5 volts. So it would go up to 10. So then you would have to like organize the protocol so that way there's a hierarchy and you're using the different levels, but you also have to filter it out and see where all the errors are from the filtration. And it's technically going to be AC, right? So you're using like a diode. What do they call it? It's not a bridge rectifier, is it? Where you're making everything go one direction, siphon it off. Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
Hold on, I don't know if
I don't even know how to start that.
I don't know if I'm understanding this correctly. So basically, like this sort of thing, where basically this would function as a clock, this would function as a 0, and this would function as a 1. Am I getting this right?
Yeah, and I think your stream is slightly. Let me do 2 times playback speed. Yeah, the low humps would just be the clock, and the ones that go higher are the actual.
That's really clever.
So then, but you're also gonna chop this off, right? So that's gonna turn into a signal. So you're gonna have to read them properly, um, because first you're gonna power the device. So you have to sap the power from it with some diodes to go a certain direction, and it needs to close the circuit, right? So I'm gonna need to test two ends of a single wire. On one side, you have a board that's powered by some DC circuit, then one wire going to another board that has to power the MCU and also function. It's going to be horrible. Like, there's no two ways about it, but
I mean, it's gonna be fun, certainly.
yeah.
I really like
Because
the idea
you're
of just
literally
like a.
just not using a ground wire.
I do have to say
just-
that it's just it would be so comical to just have a single wire to connect things together. Like imagine connectors, except they don't have any kind of ending like USB or jack or anything like that. It's just copper. It's just
Yeah.
like copper at the end, and you just mash them together. Or actually, it would be genuinely useful sometimes as a debug
Oh,
tool.
probably.
As
Yeah.
a debug. To be brutally honest, like I don't think it would be useful in anything finished, simply because, well, I mean, USB-C and Ethernet and all of these, they are just so over-engineered to fit their specific niche. But as a debug, it would be phenomenal, because then you can. Because then basically, if you're working on something, if you're prototyping something, then you can just use any wire to read the output.
Yeah. That's why I also made my RGB protocol, the light protocol. So as long as I have one RGB LED, then I can send all of the logs through that if I want. But you can't communicate back, right? So I was actually working on just a fiber.
And then
like
when you're
shitty
done
fiber.
with the one wire going this way, then the both waves as well. Obviously. I
So
think-
half duplex, I think, is what that would be. So you could, yeah.
I mean,
All you
you
have to do
definitely
is
can.
once you get it to write bits, you can always have it read and write slower, and just have a header to
Oh
the packet.
no! Come on,
So
no.
the beginning of the packet is, hey, this is sending for the next however long. Then it sends the data one way, the device reads it, end of message, and then it
Oh
sends.
no!
the other
Come
way.
on, Tefta, that's inefficient. Now in this case, I know I'm thinking a bit too much like a computer scientist and too little like an engineer.
It's a single
but
wire.
come on,
It's a single
Tefta,
wire.
that's too slow. Obviously, what you need to do is you need to
How do you
have
think
a
other
second
protocols do
waves. No, you
How
obviously
do you
need.
think other protocols do it?
No, you don't understand. You obviously need a second wave that will be this time for the output, and you obviously need to combine them together into another wave. So, at for example, half offset, have another wave, and combine them together into more complex wave, which would probably look something like this. And then you would need to separate off the individual waves to get the.
While at the same time powering it, yeah.
And
But
then
how do you think other protocols work that are
I
single
mean,
wire?
I know that the other
They have
protocols.
to be half duplex.
Yeah, I mean, I know,
there's
but
no
I'm
way
just screwing around here. I'm just because I'm basically turning something that's already really difficult and turning into borderline. And then what you can do is you can generalize it in some way so that you could have a single wire that you could connect to an arbitrary number of connections, where you can have a single wire that connects to 3 devices, for example.
What do you think Wi-Fi is? Right. So essentially, what this is
I mean,
Wi-Fi.
oh,
Wi-Fi only has a
that is
single wire,
true.
which is the air. So the air propagates the signal. Now they even have devices that can take the Wi-Fi signals and turn it into electricity. It's just so low amperage, it's hard to do anything with.
Oh my god, I was just screwing
essentially-
around, just basically applying the way that any kind of wireless system works, and you just blow my mind by. Yeah, it is the exact same thing.
Yeah, that's what single wire. That's what all RF frequencies
Well,
are.
oh no, actually no.
Single
There
wire.
is one caveat which makes your problem infinitely more difficult, which is the fact
Power.
that the power, yes,
Yeah.
and that's actually.
I think it's easy though. All you have to do is consume electricity on one side. You'd probably have to have some sort of battery or just capacitor. And what the system is doing is it's utilizing the energy that is being sent to it.
I personally don't think it's easy. I think it's really difficult, but at the same time, I think you're fully capable of doing it. I have confidence.
Appreciate your confidence.
I mean it. It's not. I genuinely mean it. As someone who, whilst not an expert, knows a fair bit about computer science and electrical engineering, and that one time I did the AC research for a video, I personally think it's very, very difficult, but at the same time, knowing what you've done, I think you'll manage just fine. Fourier transform your message out of your signal. I mean, yes, the only issue is that in this case, you would need to Fourier transform it using hardware and not software, which is the entire pickle of the situation. Actually, wait, could you implement a Fourier transform using like basic electrical components? Also, I don't think Fourier transform would help in this case.
With the square waves, I mean, technically, you're looking. It's not like you're using ADCs to read the signal, right?
Yeah.
So that's you're using a threshold switch or like an interrupt, right? So you're looking for the change in voltage, and it's essentially a 1-bit ADC, right? It's either on or off. So with that information, a Fourier transform could help you, but that's more of like fiber optic communication. Definitely would use Fourier transforms.
Isn't that just extra step? Why not software? Well, I'm pretty certain you can't use software because the clock is combined with the information itself. So I don't think you could use software because the software wouldn't be able to know how quickly to read the information, and it needs to know how quickly to read the information to read how quickly it could read the information. That kind of thing. So if I remember correctly, whenever there's a clock involved anywhere, it's always implemented with hardware because it has to be, because it's a clock. That is, if I remember correctly, where basically each component, the clock basically like turns on the reading. Does that make? Am I making any sense, or am I? I know what I have a video to make.
And it's becoming more positive. You multiply
Say it again.
by a positive number.
I mean that clock is always implemented with hardware, no matter what the component, because it has to.
It's like a crystal.
Yeah, exactly. It has. Oh no, I don't mean the output clock. I mean the input clock. The input of a clock of when you're supposed to read something.
Yeah, well, it's either a carrier signal or a crystal, yeah. But if you, let's say, for example, you had the same crystal on both devices, they could be slightly off. I don't know. It's interesting. But yeah, how would you get a PWM? But like, if you have a device that's faster than a crystal can oscillate, you can technically do software. That's what is, that's a software-defined I2C or software-defined SPI. It takes more processing power, but you can do it. You could like create a clock signal.
But that's a slippery slope
without
then.
using a crystal.
But that is a slippery
but
slope then, because then you need to make sure that your device is always faster.
Yeah, and not utilize so many CPU cycles, because you're like if one of your programs takes 8 CPU cycles and 240 megahertz clock, like do the math. There's only so much frequency you can do.
Number, and it's becoming more positive. You multiply a number by a positive number, and it's becoming more positive.
It gets fun
exponentially.
fast.
And the division has the opposite effect. Simple enough. I don't think I need to explain to you how addition works, even though I've...
Okay, this... what am I doing now? Alright. I need the big math video.
Yeah, I don't know how to have the device talk back though. Because one's a master, one's a slave, right? So one's supplying voltage to the other. When it's the other turn to send.
Well, that's simple. You
right?
just need to have on a single wire positive voltage both ways. I don't know what you mean. You need like you have two sides, right? And you need the first side to have higher potential than the second side, and you need the second side to have higher potential than the first side, all on a single wire. I don't know. What do you mean?
Yeah,
It's simple.
It's gonna work.
I've done it in the past. In the past.
There we go. I can do it. Just 5 more minutes tops. Tops.
So
I've
there,
done
it
it in
has
the
been done
past.
before, called a Dallas Maxim one wire.
No,
But
don't
they
ever
didn't-
check on the internet if something's been done before. No, because then
No, it's only been done in the opposite direction. It doesn't supply power. You have to do
Oh.
power with another line. It's a ground line that actually does voltage drops. It's like capacitively charged, and it's half duplex. See, I knew that was a limitation, but and TVs technically did it, right? Back in the day.
Next there is
Because the clock for TVs was the actual power of the grid.
wait, really?
Isn't that-
I didn't know that actually. I genuinely
So the
didn't.
reason why America has a 29.97 frame rate and the UK is because of the standard. In UK or in Europe, it was like usually 50 hertz for their power, I think, and then 60 hertz for America. But we decided to use 400 lines versus their 420. So they divided it out, and it's 24 frames per second. So yeah, you literally are using the AC cycle the TV does for its timing, and that's how it draws the lines. So like the television line syncs up with the power
I
line.
suppose that makes sense because that was back when doing analog circuits was easier than making digital ones. So it was,
Yeah, 'cause
it
how-
is. Yeah, that makes sense. Old technology is so comically over-engineered. I love how I had a friend who was basically obsessed with and preferred the way that old technology worked than how the new technology worked, and he always just gave me all this sorts of trivia because he was just in his office, like actually at this place, just in general, he was just disassembling different old pieces of technology. He was just going around different trash sites and collecting them and disassembling them and doing stuff with them. And he was president, and basically he gave me a bunch of trivia about the actual technical ways all of it worked. And I love how all the pieces of technology sound like future technology, just simply because of how over-engineered they had to be in order to work without any digital parts.
Yeah,
'Cause back in the day,
just
computers
need it.
just couldn't handle it, and you instead need to do everything with hardware. Nowadays, we have software-defined hardware. That's insanity. You can update a BIOS. Like, how? You can update a BIOS to unlock additional features in your motherboard. It blows my mind.
real numbers, which are
that is kind of crazy.
It's
Hey,
insanity.
we don't have to use light anymore to flash memory.
Yeah.
That's how they used to like wipe the memory of certain chips. Just expose the actual silicon to UV light. Okay, I'm gonna. So it looks like it's gonna be really hard.
100%. I have watched just 5 minutes over an hour. I am very slow watcher. Yeah, this is just the second hour of my 5 minutes.
Are a ring. Real numbers means positive.
This.
Real numbers means positive and negative. And the important thing to note here is that the rules governing negative numbers and a ring. Which are a ring. Real numbers means positive and negative. And the important thing to note here is that the rules governing negative numbers are the exact opposite of positive numbers.
Okay, this. Ringhold.
Which means that whilst adding a positive number to a positive number would result in an even higher number, adding a negative number to it would result in a less positive number. The same way...
I mean, essentially, it would be better if you could just have like a big ADC. Maybe I should just do like Fourier transforms and like try to send the max amount of data. That might be fun.
You also gave me an idea for something.
Awesome.
It's very similar to yours, but easier. A single wire information, however, it doesn't send power over, and it can be connected to an arbitrary. So basically, wireful Wi-Fi, the non-wireless wireless connection, if that makes sense, and it shouldn't.
No, it does. Well, what's really cool is you could use that in cloth, right? So if you had a piece of cloth that was, conductive.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Like a CAN bus of like a bus of some sort.
Yeah, exactly what I'm thinking is that, well, in my case, I'm more imagining like just wires, where a wire is soldered to every single component you want, and then you just solder the wires together at a point where you just merge them.
Yeah.
I just think it'd be fun. The non-wireless wireless connection is just comical, and I like that. I don't know. I don't think it will have any advantages, honestly. I generally don't think so, because...
You know what you could do is all you have to do is just use a whole bunch of ESP32s that have the button antennas and just connect all of them together. Just solder, or just scrape off the antenna, literally, and then just put a wire on it.
I mean, yeah, I could do that, but no, I imagine it like making my own standard. So trying to implement basically wireless connection from software, designing. I always loved designing systems. So that's why back in the day, I've made 5 different file formats for different things. Generalized data format, generalized metadata format, generalized vector graphics format, which I just called array graphics because I'm comical. Generalized images. I had my own image file, which included compression. The compression sucked, but it existed. I always loved making formats for stuff, or kind of my own DLL-ish system. Not really, because I didn't implement DLLs. It's more like a generalized connected for DLLs. So I would love to make it. What's on your list of videos right now? That list has 50 entries, and there are a couple that I didn't even add there, didn't even bother adding.
He subtracted them.
Let me check, how many entries do I have? 46. And there are a bunch of different ones that I didn't even include yet.
If you multiply a positive by a positive, it's getting exponentially a positive. It's getting a
No, they screw up anything here.
negative. And the important thing to note here is that the rules governing negative numbers are the exact opposite of positive numbers, which means that whilst adding a positive number to a positive number would result in an even higher number, adding a negative number to it would result in a less positive number. The same way, if you multiply a positive by a positive, it's getting exponentially positive here.
This, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, no, wait, not this. This.
multiply a if you multiply a positive by a positive, it's getting exponentially positive, yeah. But if you multiply a positive by a negative, it's getting exponentially negative, yeah.
Okay.
So that's how negative numbers negative, yeah. So that's how negative numbers change the rules. But before we go on, let's take one more look at them, this time from the perspective of the negative numbers.
Alright, already have 5 minutes. Good, I'm getting good progress, Just 5 more minutes. Just 5 more minutes tops, and then the video will be finished. Oh, I'm getting the fun portion of the video with the animations. Well, that's good. It's not hard to say. Positive, imaginary, negative, imaginary, positive. What's with that? One can see there's some cyclicity to it. Each modification resulting in negative entry. Well, in order to make it more clear, which means that 310. What's happening? Why can I not paste the keyframes I have? I really should switch to Blender 4.4 because 4.2 had some problems with keyframes, I remember, and I think they fixed it in the most recent one. I don't remember if that's what it was, I don't know if that's what's happening, but just in case. Good night, Theo. Good night. Good night, Theo. Will you double check your video by watching it once from start to finish, or are you just confident? Actually, neither. I will not double check my video, but that's not because I'm confident, only that's because I hate my videos whenever I finish them.
Bro is the average kid Patreon.
But that's true. At some point I just despise them completely. Okay.
Once again, if you have a negative number and you add another negative number...
Why did I say add? There's no addition. Oh my goodness.
Another one from the perspective of the negative numbers. Yeah, in this video... One. Once again, if you have a negative number and you add another negative number, they are getting more. They are getting more negative. But if you take a negative number and multiply it, then multiplying they are getting more negative. Another negative number, they are getting more negative. But if you take a negative number and they are getting more negative. But if you take a negative number and take a negative number and
This explanation kinda sucks, but at the same time I'm explaining negative numbers, for goodness sake, everyone already knows this.
Then multiplying it by another negative number, this result multiply it, then multiplying it by then this results in the negative number getting flipped again. This time then this results in the negative number getting flipped.
What are negative numbers? I don't know. They're too complex for me. So, my fun.
Again, this time back to positives.
All right, there we go.
So negative numbers walk in the opposite way to the positive number. Opposite way to the positive numbers. But you already knew that. In the opposite way.
Okay, we're almost at the complex numbers, which is good. The visualization of the e to the ix though will be phenomenal. I already know it because I have planned the geometry nodes in my head exactly, and I am confident that it will work exactly the way I want it to. Sheer confidence. What could possibly go wrong?
Positive numbers. But it's way to the positive numbers. But you already
Absolutely
knew that,
nothing.
and you probably know
Exactly. Nothing ever goes wrong after someone says what could possibly go wrong. That's the sentence that people say right before everything is about to go right.
Well, sweet. Well, hey, if you want help later, I'm gonna hop off.
Yeah, I'm sorry for not specifying anything, Teft. I truly am. But I
No problem at all.
okay. If you're not asleep when I'm done with this, then
It'll only be 5 minutes. What are you talking about?
yeah, I mean exactly. It will be 5 minutes, but I don't know how. Maybe you'll finish the entire single wire protocol in like 2 minutes, and you just go to sleep afterwards. I don't know. So I know it will be just 5 minutes, but if you're asleep, that's fine. We can just do it another day.
Sweet.
All
Later.
right. Bye. See ya. Good luck. Okay. There we go. We're at 5 minutes. It's fine. Just 5 more minutes left. Just 5 more minutes.
way to the positive numbers. But you already knew that, and you probably know where I'm gonna go with this next. That's because
Those are
the
some
curious
long
thing
5
about
minutes.
No, it's just standard 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. I swear, just 5 minutes tops, and then the video will be finished.
because the
Trust me.
curious
Alright, I
thing about
forgot
negative
to
numbers
calculate time dilation.
Exactly.
is that both positive and negative numbers, both positive number times positive number equals a positive number, and the negative number times a negative number. Because the curious thing about negative numbers is that both
There we go. This right here.
positive number times positive number equals a positive number, and the negative number times a negative number equals a positive number.
It's been 2.5 hours. No, just 5 more minutes, and then I'll finish the video. Don't worry. Trust me. It's just 5 more minutes.
So both positive squared and negative squared equal a positive. So what kind of number? So both positive squared
There we go. Just 5 more minutes. Trust me. Just 5 minutes.
and negative squared equal a positive.
All right. There we go. Just 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes, and then it's gonna be. No, copy this. What do you mean? There we go. Second transition. There we go.
So what kind of number squared could give us a negative?
That's what you said 2.5 hours ago. No, just 5 minutes. Trust me. This time I'm for real. Just 5 minutes. 5 minutes and I'm done. It's all it's gonna take. Just 5 minutes. Oh, I like the way this looks so far. It's nice.
So what kind of number squared could give us a negative?
Why is it ever so slightly off? I'm not delusional in case it is ever so slightly off. Should it be a tiny bit faster? No, it should be a tiny bit The bottom one should be a tiny bit faster. Oh yeah, right, that's the drop. That's good. That works. I like it. I like it lots.
The answer to that is the complex numbers. And the answer to that is...
Okay, perfect. See, we've reached the scene that we're rendering right now. We've reached this. Look at it. That's the complex numbers. That's the text that was on the screen a second ago. We've reached it. We're practically there. To be fair, that's, you know, we haven't even animated everything, but kind of, almost, eventually. Don't worry. This looks epic. Thank you so much. It's 5 minutes. That's it. That's all it's gonna take. Okay, 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Was the next animation enough for me to render? Yeah, because a sec. So an imaginary number multiplied by 1 is imaginary. Wait, no. Wait, it's kind of hard to say. Oh, I missed the point at which negative numbers flip. Someone's a good person. Imaginary numbers, if we take a look at this, it's kind of hard to say. So in order to make it more clear, if we take the top axis, put there we go. To make it more clear, if we take the top axis and put it perpendicular to the bottom axis, so what we want to do right here is we want to move them in a way so that we rotate this axis 90 degrees. We remove the real and imaginary text because we don't need it anymore. And then we just tell them to this way. And then we want to move them so that the top one and the bottom one both go to 0, 0. But at the same time they rotate, or one of them rotates by 90. I should also make the text rotate, honestly. Just look slightly better. 0, 0, 0, 0, there we go. This does give us overlapping texture in the middle, so we can bring one of them ever so slightly lower, and this will fix it, no longer overlapping. And then there we go. And then all we'd like to do is just move the text of this one sideways, and also possibly move them a bit closer to the middle to make them visible. Alright, so the Y, we don't want it to rotate that way, we want it to rotate right here. There we go. Perfection. This and this, if I'm not mistaken, pretty certain. We'll see. 90. Perfect. The only problem is that the translation is way off. So that's also a manageable issue. We can just move it ever slightly more to the right. There we go. Oh, I am good at what I do. Oh, ladies and gents. Actually, we can also remove the squares. Now that I think about it, we don't actually need the squares. Now I think about it, we don't actually need any dots at all. Fine, I'll fix it. Just render it for now. Thank goodness I'm good at what I do, because otherwise they would be slightly challenging. It would be a mild inconvenience. I'm fine.
Complex numbers, and in order to understand that, we'll have to start with these two dots. The answer to that is the complex numbers, and in order to understand that, we'll have to start with these two dots.
There we go. Wait, shouldn't there be X on one of them? Oh, piss. Let's expand it. Let's move to the end. Add frame hold perfection. There we go, there we go, there we go. Now we need the boing sound effect, which is crucial. You can't have a video without the boing sound effect. That's just not how it works. I don't make the rules.
These two. Yeah, in this
I pressed enter again.
start with these two. These two dots.
There we go, now pitch. Shifter, edit, move this slightly up.
Dots.
No, I meant -6.
Dots. The white dot will represent a number, and the blue dot will represent that.
There we go. What do you do after finishing an amazing show and are now left emotionally hollow? I work on the next one. Why do you think you make them so quickly?
Dot will represent that number squared. So you can see that no matter where I move the white dot, the blue dot always remains on the right side. That's because any number squared gives you a positive, no matter what. That's why in order to get a negative positive,
I just realized that the music is awfully loud in this video. Awfully loud, I mean. Video.
positive
Let's do it -4.
numbers, which are notably at the right side. That's because any number squared gives you a positive, no matter what. That's why in order to get a negative number, what you need to do is completely separate
-7.
the number line and relate it to a real number. Any numbers. That's why in order to get a negative number, what we'll need is a completely separate number line. A completely separate
the casual X squared just getting tiny all of a sudden.
separate number line. And number squared gives you a positive, no matter what. That's why in order to get a negative number, what we'll need is a completely separate number line. And related to our
Okay, this right here. And then transformation. And my file explorer just almost died. That's great. Was it taking almost transformation? This one? Yes, that is exactly the one I was thinking of.
Really good number line. A kind of well, really good number line. A kind of a really good number line. A kind of
And there we go, there we go, there we go. And move it left.
imaginary number line of sorts.
I think that looks solid.
If we take our y dot and we move it on the imaginary number line, then voila, we can get our square into the negative. Into the negatives. And so that's the basic idea. Positive times anything gives us that basic idea.
Oh yeah,
And so
that's the basic idea, which means we need to move this back.
that's the basic idea. Positive times anything gives us that anything.
Yeah, we reached the thing that we've been working on. Yes, once I reach the end, then I'll really slow down because I'll need to make the animations on the fly. You mean all of that effort I spent and put into this video over the days? That's just been 6 minutes of video. It's good. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. It's great. Glad to hear. That's nice. All right. With that in mind, finishing the video today seems a tad bit less achievable. But I'm certain I can manage. This is the make it life, I guess.
Which means that when you need to increase something, you'd use the positive number to just increase it or decrease it.
Oh, perfect.
That's it. Next, the negative numbers. Negative numbers
Mm-hmm.
Next, the negative numbers. Negative numbers take whatever you multiply them by and flip them. Simple as it could be. Positive tends to negative.
Right, hit this.
Negative tends to positive. Imaginary tends to negative imaginary. Negative imaginary tends to imaginary. That's negative numbers. But what about it?
Ah, shucks.
What about imaginary numbers?
It's gonna slow down significantly. I'll have to script the quaternions. I'll actually start working on the quaternions. I can paralyze.
Well, if we look at them from this perspective, it's actually kind of hard to say.
Okay. I have liberty to add the hours because we're waiting anyway. But I do need to color them in correctly. So, Lumetri. First one is just blue. Just blue.
Positive tends to imagine.
It's too imaginary, so... Actually, both at the same time would be better. And right here, the imaginary means more... reddish, there we go. And higher exposure.
Imaginary to negative, imaginary to
Oh yeah, because I've been going out of order. That this actually could work for me pretty well if I do it right.
imaginary.
Imaginary right here. Negative, which means red arrow. I'm fine. I can do it. Just 5 more minutes. Just 5 more minutes tops, and then I'll be finished. Just 5 more minutes. That's all I need. Did it finish rendering? No, it's still rendering. Okay. Gonna hit the head now. Good night. Good night, Dan. Good night. Good night. Have fun. Be right back in 5 minutes. Exactly.
Negative.
Negative, which means second from the top.
Negative to imaginary. Negative. Positive tends to imaginary. Positive.
My goodness, from the start? Really?
Positive tends to imaginary. Imaginary to negative. Negative to negative to negative imaginary.
Right, so this has to be yellow. Which is, if I'm not mistaken, this. There we go.
Negative imaginary and negative to negative imaginary and
And then rotate
negative imaginary to
positive. So back to the start. There we go. There we go. If I like chat being quiet or full of brain rot.
What's up with that? What's up with that?
I prefer quiet than full of brain rot, to be honest. Not too fond of brain rot myself.
We do positive. What's up with that? Well, you can see that it has a certain cyclistic. Well, you can see that it has a certain.
Oh, that's the end of music. Hold on.
You have a positive number. I don't think I need to explain to you how.
Let's pull a bit of a sneaky move and just add more music.
Negative imaginary tends to imaginary.
And let's see how notes will be.
Imaginary to positive. What's up with that? Well, you can see that it has a certain cyclicity to it, you know, with each multiplication resulting in the next entry. And so in order to it, you know, with
There we go.
each multiplication resulting in the next entry. And so in order to make it more clear, we can take the top box to make.
There we go, and then this.
Make it more clear. We can take the top axis.
And we're at the animation we are currently rendering right now in the background. It's still not finished rendering. Why? It takes 11 seconds per frame. Why? Why would it? 15 minutes.
And put it
And right here is where we need to add in the animation we are rendering. That's where we got 7.5 minutes. Damn it! I was honestly hoping it'd be more. Ah, shucks. Shucks dagnabbit. Hello everyone, welcome to yet another paint drying stream, where we watch the paint dry. Or the render tick by, whatever you want to call it. I guess that'll be it for today's stream. There isn't really much of a point for me to stream anymore if I'm this slow. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go make myself a third cup of coffee, and then I will finish this video today, no matter what. I'm going to, and I'm not in denial. I'm not in denial. So, good night, make it. Yeah, it's not gonna be a good night. I'm not falling asleep. Anyway, thank you for now, Beard, I suppose. We got somewhere. We got from, I had 7 minutes, that's somewhere. This video is looking pretty solid so far, I would say. I like it. And for now, that'll be it. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye.